Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous here in downtown Vancouver, Canada today. Just sitting here in front of a waterfall just to cool off. Check out these buildings. I'm here in the financial district here in downtown Vancouver. It's a gorgeous day here. Just finished some high-level meetings in some of these towers here today with some industry titans. Tell you, we're leveling up, skilling up in 2017. I want to share with you, I get stopped all the time on the street. I get multiple messages a day through various different forms of social media. People ask me all the time, Darren, if you could give me some strategies, some tools, some tips, some techniques to help me level up my life, to help me grow and expand myself, what would you share with me? So I want to share with you something that I've been doing for many years now in my life, and I get phenomenal, specific, measurable, and actionable results every year. In fact, if you're willing to invest 5 to 10 minutes a day, that's just it, 5 to 10 minutes a day in your life, do this in the morning when you wake up, and do it before you go to bed at night, before you retire, when your head hits the pillow, you'll be amazed that within the first 30 days of doing this, you're going to see some specific and measurable results. Then in 60 to 90 days, you're going to see some incredible results. Within 6 months, you might even become unrecognizable in your results. And within 1 year, it will be a game changer for you. It'll be life-changing. Now, how do I know this? Well, for over 20 years now, I've traveled the world training and developing over 1 million people. I sit on paid boards of directors of public and private companies. I advise and consult many people around the world in different countries and cultures from all walks of humanity. And I've had a chance to invest over $1 million of my own money in the last 25 years into personal and professional development. So I know from firsthand experience, not only having $1 million of my own money in the game, but also from training and developing over 1 million people around the world, and also training and developing over 157 Fortune 500 companies. If you want to learn more about me, just go to darrenjacklin.com and you can do some research or due diligence on me. But let's get to the exercise. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down your top 10 goals, or what one of my billionaire friends told me, your personal promises to yourself. You see, some of you call them goals or targets, and which I have for many years. And now I sat down with one of the wealthiest people on the Forbes 400 list and had breakfast with him one morning, just him and I. He said to me, he said, Darren, he said, what's your goals and dreams? And I showed it to him. I had it all mapped out and planned out. And he says, I want to expand your mindset like a billionaire thinks, and I want you to call them your personal promises to yourself. So I want to invite you to participate in this exercise where you write down today 10 of your personal promises to yourself. So it could be in areas of relationship, health, finances, job, career, business. It could be in regards to travel. It could be spiritual. So I've got my top 10 personal promises to myself. Now, I have it written down. I have them laminated, and I have about 15 of these copies that are laminated. I have them throughout my home, my gym bag, my workout locker at the gym. I have them in the shower, in the bathroom, all over the place. I also, every morning, write out my top 10 personal promises to myself in my journal, and every night before I go to bed, I write out my top 10 personal promises to myself before I go to bed at night. Now, I write out my personal promises to myself a minimum of 730 times a calendar year. And I say a minimum, the reason why is because every time I have a failure, I have a setback, I have an adversity, I have a challenge, and I've had many adversities and failures and setbacks in my life. To reset my mindset and to move forward with speed and execution, to get me out of analysis paralysis, or get me from being stuck or beating up on myself and self-sabotage myself with my negative self-talk or mind chatter, I reset my mindset very quickly. So it's not how many times I fall down, it's how many times I get back up, and I reset my mindset by rewriting out my top 10 personal promises to myself. So whenever I'm confronted, I open up my journal and I just take a few minutes and I write down my top 10 personal promises to myself as a non-negotiable habit. That's what I've done. And I've done this for many years. And what's really interesting was I write out probably an extra 50 to 100 or more personal promises to myself every year because of the adversities, failures, and setbacks and challenges. But what I'm doing is I'm creating a consistent habit through repetition and consistency and building momentum that eventually just becomes on autopilot. Like I could right now recite to you my top 10 personal promises to myself because I've done it so much at the start of this year. I start at January 1st and go right through to December 31st of each calendar year. And then in the month of December, I start pre-planning for the next year. Now, I want to share with you, sometimes my personal promises will change. Like, for example, the first 90 days of 2017, I adjusted some of the languaging, the wording. So one of the things I want to share with you is you always want to start with the word I. For example, you may say, I earn, $50,000 this year. I earn $150,000 this year. I earn $500,000 this year. I earn $1.5 million this year. I live in a beautiful, opulent, extraordinary home. I sail around the world. I get to travel the world and do what I love and love what I do. I have a beautiful relationship with the love of my life. Okay? I have equity in 12 new companies this year. Okay? Because I'm acquiring assets this year in a massive rate. I'm building a massive portfolio. I'm building a $100 million net worth right now, myself and my life over the next 10 years. And I'm on track with that. And then at age 55, my exit strategy towards my legacy is to give 99% of my net worth, my $100 million or more, to my charitable foundation for global humanitarian philanthropy. So I'm building wealth by creating companies and creating jobs and businesses, but I'm not doing it for the money. I'm actually doing it for a legacy to make a greater good in the world in terms of humanitarian philanthropy, because we need to help protect the animals. We need to save our oceans and our environments. We need to deal with global warming. We need to deal with these issues. Well, money can solve these problems by writing a check and hiring smart people and creating resources and creating jobs that can help that. That's just my belief, and creating committees and teams and some of that to help that. So I want to encourage you to write down your top 10 personal promises to yourself, whether they're personal or professional promises, doesn't matter. It's up to you. It's your list. Now, if you want to have some fun and test this, I want you to just go ahead today and invest 5 or 10 minutes and write down top 10 personal promises to yourself, and then put it in a drawer. Just take the letter and put it in a drawer, and make a goal or commitment to yourself that 1 year from today you pull that out of a drawer and you read it to yourself. And you'll be amazed that for a lot of you, the majority of you, you'll actually achieve a few of those personal promises on that list that you wrote down. It's amazing how powerful the human mind is, and being guided by God, the creator of the universe, spirit, whatever you choose to believe, that there's an intelligence force or being here. It's amazing, greater than ourselves, but you'd be amazed at what you can achieve. And I've done this for many years, sampled this with many people around the world, and it's amazing how many people stop me on the street today after 22 years of doing this globally. And just people today, I met a guy earlier this morning who I've not seen in about 12 years, who attended one of my training development programs here in Vancouver, Canada years ago, and I recognized him, and he said, "Hey Darren, how are you?" And I recognized him. I didn't remember his name, but I recognized his face. And he works in the financial service industry up in one of these towers. And it was really kind of cool because he said, you told me to write down to become a vice president of a major financial corporation. He goes, well, 12 years ago, I thought you were full of a bunch of BS when you did that, which means belief system, BS, belief system. He said, well, guess what I do today? He goes, I manage over $200 million in a financial portfolio. And I said, really? I said, so from the time you set that personal promise to yourself till the time you start doing it, he goes, well, within about 12 months, I was managing about $3 million. And then it gradually scaled up from there to now over 12 years. Now it's at 200 million. And he says, I make a phenomenal living. I'm married now. I've got a couple of children. And he says, I'm living the time of my life. And he says, it's amazing how the direction and focus of my life. He said, that day I invested with you, that 6 hours I invested with you, Darren Jacklin, changed the course of my life. He goes, I just want to thank you. He goes, I didn't know if I'd ever see you again or how to contact you. And I know you're really busy, but I just want to thank you. So that's why I do what I do. It's when that gentleman stops me on the street and gives me that, reassurance, saying, wow, what happened 12 years ago when he met me does this. And that's what I want to do, is I want to touch your lives. I want to put my fingerprints on your life, knowing that at the end of my life and my legacy, that it's not what I said, it's not what I do, but it's how I made people feel and the impact I had on humanity and society. Because I believe that, I'm paying rent here on the planet for using natural resources like the water and oil and gas and all these different things that we use as natural resources. And for me paying the rent is doing humanitarian philanthropy causes. That's what just lights me up and works with my hierarchy of value system. So if this video has been a benefit to you, please feel free to share it, like it, put some hearts, repost it, drop some comments in below. For those of you who've never met me, my name is Darren Jacklin. I'm grateful to be here to be in service to you. If you want to find out more information about me, just go to my website, darrenjacklin.com. Thanks for being here, everyone. Have yourself a great day. I look forward to making more of a difference in your life. Go ahead and do this exercise and watch what starts to happen. Invest 5 to 10 minutes a day. Write out your top 10 personal promises to yourself. Every morning, write them out. every night before you go to bed, write them out, and just start to notice what happens in the next 30, 60, 120 days, 6 months from now, a year from now. I look forward to seeing you someday on the street, or someday in an event, or someday when I'm traveling around the world, meet at some airport or some place where you can come up and say, hey, Darren, you know that video I watched you one time on social media? Well, I end up doing that, and here's the impact of my life. In fact, my children are now doing it. That's what I love to hear. Have yourself a good day, everyone.